Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to do a quick video that I should have done before. I'm going to do my March wrap up, but I'm also going to show you like a little miniature haul of things that I picked up when I went to Cornwall to visit my sister. There are like no bookshops there, it was just from a charity shop, but you know, couldn't resist it. So yeah, let's get into the books I read in March, which seems like such a long time ago now because we're near the end of April. First I finished reading In the Pink, which is a poetry collection that came out in the 80s, and I believe it's published by the Women's Press, and I believe that though it says In the Pink was broadcast on the first night of Channel 4, blah 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 blah. So I think it was a TV programme, I'm not sure, like I really should research that and have a look. But anyway, it's basically just a poetry collection of female poets. There's some people like Plath in here, there's some more like, I don't know, there's just a lot of different ones. It was alright. I thought it was pretty cool when I found it for £1 in a charity shop, like a book of feminist poetry. So yeah, like I said, this was a long time ago that I read this, so I can't fully remember. I did like it. I didn't rate it, I don't think, because I find it really hard to rate poetry because I'm not really a poetry person, and because this is like so many different authors, like some of them have a few poems in here, but mostly it's just like one or two per person. I feel like I can't really rate their work when it's in a collection like this. But anyway, enjoyed it. It's alright. Glad I picked it up. Next, I read, if you can even call it reading, A Guinea Pig Oliver Twist, which is a book of the story of Oliver Twist, but with guinea pigs dressed up as characters, and it's like a really like abbreviated version of the story. I got this for Christmas from my mum. She bought me a Pride and Prejudice one before, and I loved it. And I don't live with my guinea pigs anymore, and I miss them, and I was feeling extra sad, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to read this because it will cheer me up, because it is funny. Like, what's funnier than animals dressed up in human clothes? Obviously, like, if they want to. It is funny, and it did cheer me up when I was feeling particularly sad. But like I said, it's not really reading, it's pretty much a picture book with like a few words on the opposite page. But I recommend them because I think they're really nice like gifts for people like me who love guinea pigs, or just people that like the classic books, and it's just like a nice take on it. But yeah, anyway, next I read, what did I read? I can't remember which order I read these in. I think I read Dear Ishuali, or A Feminist Manifesto in 15 Suggestions by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie first. And I really enjoyed it, and as you can see, like, there's loads of tabs in it for like, what is it, 60 pages or something? Yeah, 66 page book, that's quite a lot of tabs. But at the time, I think that I read this at like a really good time for me to read it. I obviously have like recently been through a breakup, and I'm finding it kind of difficult to be on my own, but this was like more of like a, you know, you're perfectly capable as a woman, you don't need a man to like, this is not what it's about. The things in this were telling me that. It's basically Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's friend messaged her or emailed her or whatever, wrote her a letter asking her to help her raise her newborn daughter as a feminist. And so she wrote back to her normally, but then she's like made it into this little book for us all to enjoy, and it's beautifully published, and it's a very short read. You can read it in one sitting. Well, I did. I don't know why you would take more than that. And it's basically just what it says on the tin: 15 suggestions on how to raise your child feminist. And she talks about all sorts of things like gender stereotypes, and the way that women aren't really encouraged to do things for themselves. There's a part in here where she talks about like if your daughter needs something to be fixed, let her try and do it by herself first. Like, I'm really paraphrasing, it was really much better than that. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, which I gave to We Should All Be Feminists, which was her other non-fiction feminist book, which was even shorter than this one. I think it was like 30 pages. It was her TED Talk, and they made it into a book. And I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. I think just because I enjoyed like its message, but this one was more like of a... I could take a little bit more away from this, and I don't know if that's because it's longer or if it was just written in a more clearer way than We Should All Be Feminists was more of like anecdotal story of her experiences, whereas this is more like a universal, like this is what happens to women. There's a great bit in here about how women are expected to give up their names when they get married, but a man's not, and how people are treated when they decide not to do that. So she kept her own name when she got married, and she talks about that a little bit. And just, yeah, basically a nice little feminist book. I wish I'd done a review on this when I just read it, because I had so many thoughts, but now it's been a little while because, like I said, we're at the end of April. But yeah, 5 out of 5 stars for this one. Next I read 100 Shadows by Hwang Jung-geun, and it's translated by Jung Yeon from Korean. I got this in my moth box, which I already posted about, and I pretty much picked it up straight away. I really like... Oh yeah, I forgot to say in my moth box thing, well, I didn't forget, I just didn't realise that the blurb is actually on the inside of the book. And I was like, there's no blurb on it, because I was tired when I did that. There is a blurb. It's about 2 people that are... It says that they're like... It says that they're like falling in love, but in my head they're friends, and they have a strong friendship. But anyway, they work at like an electronics market in like a slum area, and it's getting sorry, there's people outside the window. It's getting slowly demolished, like slowly taken apart and gentrified, and alongside that storyline there is this weird thing that keeps happening to people where their shadows get up and leave them, and people are like inclined to follow their shadows. But it's said throughout the book, it doesn't say why, it doesn't say exactly what happens, but it's implied that like if you do follow your shadow, you're going to die, or you are willingly going to your death, or just something really bad is going to happen. And I interpreted the shadow thing to be about mental health, because in this there is one part where, and it's not like a main storyline, it's just in the story, where they talk about a man who clearly is suffering some kind of like Alzheimer's or dementia, which I would count as mental health because it is to do with your brain. But and yeah, like themes like that going through it, and people that do follow their shadows aren't very happy. The way that sometimes it's like they don't really say the word depression in here, but it is in here a couple of times. But like the way that the people are feeling throughout this, when their shadows decide to get up, or when they're like freaking out about their shadows, or they want to go follow them, they seem pretty depressed. They seem to be having a very hard time. They seem to be not enjoying their life, and in the sort of way that you can't just like go and cheer someone up, like you just feel that way. So I interpreted the shadows as mental health, and when they leave, losing control of your mental health and giving up on it. But I don't know if that's just me, because I've not heard anyone else really say that in their reviews. But anyway, the book is like beautifully published, and it's by Tilted Access Press, and this is number 2 apparently. So I've got a few more to go and like explore with them. Really enjoyed this. The writing style is it's pretty like easy to read, not overly descriptive, which is great, because I hate when I don't hate it, but at the time when I read this, I needed something that was a quick read, and I pretty much read this in one sitting. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I think it was either 3 or 4. it wasn't perfect. Like, I wanted slightly more from the story about the shadows, because it's titled 100 Shadows, and it wasn't a major, like, I mean, it is a main theme, but it wasn't the main storyline, and I kind of wish it was. And also, the editor in me picked up a couple of mistakes right at the end. And, you know, like, it's a small small publishers, and, you know, that's fine. There's mistakes in a lot of more highly published books, more popular books and more in-demand books, but it bothers me a lot when I see a mistake in a book, especially when I'm enjoying it so much. So yeah, thank you for watching. That's everything I read in March. I'm going to do my mini haul in a separate video, I think. But thanks for watching, and if you've read any of these books, please leave me a message down below, like a comment. I'd love to speak to you about them and what you thought of them, and if you agreed or disagreed with me about 100 Shadows. Yeah, thanks for watching.